You found Wake Up Weather on ABC7 NY. This is also your weather discussion for weather or not. And boy, do we have a lot to discuss as we get into a major storm. The last time that we had a storm in New York City that was over 6 inches of snow, you have to go back 5 years ago. If you want over a foot of snow, you can go back 6 years ago. It's been a while. 6 inches, very likely a foot is on the table in New York City, but there are so many other elements to this as well. So first thing is laying the foundation of the dangerous cold, which is coming to us from the Great Lakes and of course directly from the Arctic. The temperatures in the Great Lakes today are sub-zero with wind chills that are 30 to 50 below in some cases. So that's the type of air mass that's coming our way. And the reason that we have a cold weather advisory from later tonight all the way into Saturday morning. And there'll probably be additional cold weather advisories over the next week. We're looking at sub-zero wind chills and frostbite that can occur within 20 or 30 minutes. Okay, and then the major winter storm. And this is Sunday into early Monday. The brunt of this is happening during the day on Sunday. From about mid-morning to mid or late afternoon is when we get our heaviest snows. And you can extend that into the evening hours north and west of New York City. We will get some mixing with this. Winter storm watches have all gone to warnings across the area for a widespread heavy snowfall, but also some sleet and freezing rain mixing in, especially from the city on southward, maybe in parts of Long Island. A glaze of dangerous ice is possible, even enough that we can cause some damage across parts of interior New Jersey, and travel hazardous, if not impossible. Sub-zero wind chills will develop by Saturday morning. It will be sub-freezing in terms of temperatures the next 10 days. So an incredible stretch coming up. The snow moves in by Sunday morning toward daybreak and quickly accumulates. We've been so cold we will maximize every flake. The brunt of which will be during the daylight hours. Sleet is going to mix in Sunday afternoon. And that's really the key to the snow accumulation, city and coast, is the period when that mixing occurs. If it occurs at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, then we'll be toward the lower end of our totals. If it waits until late day, early evening, then we're toward the higher end and toward double-digit snowfall in New York City. But again, from New York City south and east, there will be some mixing and even some dangerous freezing rain south and west of New York City. The snow and icy mix, that's going to taper Sunday evening. The precipitation rates will start to drop off into the evening hours, and then the colder air will rush back in as the storm moves away, and we're back to lighter snow later Sunday night into Monday morning with some small additional accumulations. So when we go through the futurecast, these are temperatures Saturday morning. 1 below Monticello, 4 Poughkeepsie, pair of 12s in Central Park and Islip. It is 10 in Belmar. We go through the day on Saturday and we struggle through the upper teens. The wind backs off a little bit, but basically it feels like 0 to about 5 during the day. The clouds thicken during the day. Now here's what happens late at night. The first snowflakes start to creep in to southern Ocean County. Remember, these are the areas that are going to mix first, but if we start seeing some snow falling during the overnight, we will start stacking up in a hurry. So notice toward daybreak on Sunday, the dry air is letting up and allowing some flakes into New York City. At that point, though, we can already have some steady snows in interior New Jersey and certainly southern New Jersey. This is the window where you're getting most of your snow into Sunday morning because we're going to mix into the afternoon hours. But we go to midday and we are peaking in snowfall rates across the area. 1, 2 inches an hour, very low visibility, snow coming down hard and sticking and stacking up in a hurry. At that point, we're 20s down the coast and we're seeing some sleet mix in up to about Monmouth County. Now here's the key time period. We get into 3 o'clock. If we can continue to snow in New York City, we will continue to stack up. We still see the mixing trying to get close to the I-78 corridor, and then we get closer to 4 or 5. Now I think we are seeing some mixing in New York City, and it's when some of the precipitation may start to get just a little lighter as we get some of the heavier bands that are over Connecticut and Long Island. We go into the evening hours, and again, if it gets a little heavier, it could go back to snow, could be going back and forth across the city and parts of Long Island while we still snow heavily north and west, and then start to see lower intensities probably after 9 or 10 o'clock. But there are some additional snows that continue to stack up toward midnight and even into the early morning hours during the day on Monday. So with that in mind, we have our ceiling of about 8 inches right along the Jersey Shore here, but we're going to get a good thump in here. So we could still achieve some of these higher totals, just the mixing is coming in during the middle of the day. Then you have your 8 to 12 inches through central New Jersey into New York City and definitely the North Shore of Long Island. And once we get north and west of I-287 and we're a pure snowstorm with this, we're going to go foot and a half. Some places could even get more than that in the storm. Again, if we don't see that mixing like it was just portrayed, get into New York City till 5 o'clock, we're going to get a foot of snow in New York City or more. This is the other component I want to make sure you know about. Look at the nearly 1/10 of an inch of ice that's getting into parts of central and southern New Jersey. Look at the Philly area, about 1/3 of an inch of ice. That could be damaging, even cause some power outages here. At the very least, treacherous travel is made even worse by some of that icing. And there might be a time where even New York City goes over to some sleet or maybe a little bit of freezing rain mixed in. As we go through the day tomorrow, remember, your wind chills are going to be basically climbing through the single digits to maybe low teens at times. But for the most part, I think it's going to feel a little bit more like 0 to 5 tomorrow. Sun gives way to clouds, brutally cold. And looking at that particular wind chill map I just showed you, that model looked a little erroneous in terms of its wind chills. Figure it feels more like single digits to around 0. We are 14 tomorrow night, cloudy and frigid, sub-zero wind chills. Snow develops toward dawn. Here's your 7-day AccuWeather forecast. Extreme cold on Saturday, 18 feeling like 0 to 5. Snow comes in toward daybreak. Heavy snow on Sunday, some afternoon icy mix, especially the city on south and east. And on Monday, it is a bitter cold, brutal cleanup. And just looking, many of you are worrying about school on Monday. The thing is, at least in many of our suburbs, even though the majority of the storm is gone, the fact that it will have dumped a lot of snow and some ice in some cases, and we still are probably getting some lingering light snows in the early morning hours, I'm leaning toward more cancellations than just delays. It's just going to be such a very challenging cleanup for our crews. It stays frigid on Tuesday, not just Tuesday. Look at this stretch. Thursday, we have to watch a little system offshore, which could actually bring a little snowfall. We'll have to watch that along the coast, and we stay brutally cold into late next week. This is likely to turn out to be the longest stretch where temperatures stay sub-freezing since 2018. That's the way the forecast is shaping up now. Again, we'll continue to raise or lower snow totals depending on when we see the mixing. We know we're pretty much a lock north and west for the major snow totals, but the city certainly still has a range at this point. Keep tuning in to ABC-7 NY, and of course always on Channel 7. First thing we know of any changes, you'll know first as well. Thanks, of course, for going on ABC-7 NY for your wake-up weather and your whether or not discussion. Stay safe in the storm. We'll take you through it.